you worked with Kanye when he dropped that new album. He had that performance out here in Miami, dude. How was that, man? That was dope, dude.
I wouldn't say I necessarily worked with Kanye. To
I
be
mean, you were
real,
with his team, though, right?
I really pressed Kanye.
Everything starts with our thoughts. Thoughts dictate our beliefs, which then dictate the way we treat and view the world, which then becomes our repeated being. And that is our personality, which then is our personal reality.
Hey, welcome back. My name is Santiago Castro, and this is Food for Thought. So today we have my good friend, Vibes by Nate. This man is a creative director. He's an athlete, and he's a film producer and so much more. And we're going to be getting into that. He's also, more importantly, one of my friends from pretty much my childhood, man. He's a great dude, and I'm excited to have him on my show and get his experience, his perspective, his mindset, and just kind of walk us through what he's achieved and the things that he has learned on the way. So appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here, all the way here in Broward County.
Yes, sir. You know we represent.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, just real quick, just to let you know, the whole purpose of my show is to really fulfill what my purpose is. And my purpose is to really help people bring freedom out of overcoming the human default, right? You know, we're born into this default that we tend to lean towards what in our life when we, either go towards making decisions or relationships or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? And it usually holds us back. And then when you overcome that human default is where you find your true freedom, right? And that's kind of where you're at. You're finding your true freedom. You're finding your passion, and you're really living it out in an amazing way, man. I love seeing you crush it. So tell us a little bit about, man, you started in Broward just like me, you know what I'm saying? We had totally different experiences growing up, but I would love to hear yours, man. How was it growing up in Broward County out here?
Growing up in Broward County, it was Broward County. It's like there's no way that you could really describe Broward County.
Yeah,
me?
I feel that. Yeah, I feel it.
Like, it's definitely one of one, for sure.
Yeah, it's unique for sure.
Most definitely. But I grew up in not the best circumstances.
Yeah.
To where I made it right here. You feel me? I'm talking to
sure.
Santiago Castro, you know?
Yeah.
No, most definitely. But it's definitely a testament to just being yourself. Being yourself. Broward is Broward, like I said. If you're from here, you're gonna understand. If you're not,
it's definitely unique in a strange way. I had my own perspective growing up, and I don't know, man. For me, like, I feel like Broward's got a lot of good culture. It's got a lot of, like, honestly, a lot of art. A lot of good music comes from Broward. I feel like it's got a lot of potential, but there's just some, for me, I didn't see people living life the way I wanted to live my life. Like, I never saw anybody walking it out, and that was kind of a recurrent theme. I never really had anybody look up to growing up here, you know what I'm saying? It's one of the big reasons why I left, but, we'll get into that here in a bit. But yeah, you grew up, you mainly grew up where, in Deerfield, right?
Deerfield, Pompano, because I really live on the borderline.
Okay, bet.
And yeah, jurisdictions and shit like that. It really like moved like where I'm from, but
okay.
Pompano and Deerfield is what I claim for sure.
Hey, bet. All right, cool. And then so from there, you ended up going to ATC, Atlantic Technical High School.
Tigers, that's where we met,
sir,
baby.
Yeah, that's where we met. That's where we crossed paths freshman year, which is oddly enough, man. I don't know how it was for you, bro, but I did not want to go to that school. In reality, like, I wanted to go to Piper. That's where all my friends were going.
Yeah.
My mom submitted the application. I got accepted, and I still didn't want to go, dude. I was in denial till, like, we went to that, like, open house, and I had to buy a uniform. Yeah. Dude, that's when it was real for me, and I was mad, dude.
You were mad?
I was mad to be there. I didn't like it.
You see, I have a different experience because I really wasn't mad. I was low-key happy to be away from, like, what I know.
Interesting. Yeah, that's good. That's dope.
Because, like, I had a lot of friends going to, like, the home high school and stuff like that, but I knew that my path was going to be different, and I wanted to be surrounded by people that were going to help my growth.
Honestly, dude, that's good. That's good that you had that mindset, man. I did not have that mindset. I was like, bro, all my boys are going to Piper, and I really wanted to be with them. And then I went to ATC, and I was like, not having it. I'm like, this school is just full of a whole bunch of lame kids, and it wasn't like what I wanted. But in retrospect, I'm very thankful I went to that school. Like, extremely thankful, because it's like you said, man. Like, I'm a competitive person by nature. So like for me, whatever the environment is if the environment is like the competition is how many girls you could sleep with, how many girls you can get with, how many drugs you could do, you know what I'm saying, how many things you can do to kind of look like, you know, the cool kid, whether it's skipping class, whatever, dude. I was like competitive by nature, so I compete with what's going on in my environment. But then when I went to ATC, it was completely different. It was like people competing for grades. And I was like, I never really had good grades, but I was like, I'm a competitive person. So then I started trying to get good grades, and I did get good grades. I had a pretty nice GPA, and I was like just realizing that I wasn't, because I thought I was dumb for a little minute, dude. I failed the FCAT. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no way.
Yeah,
dude. I wouldn't imagine that. Like going to school with you, like you were always on your shit. I was like, wow, Santi.
Yeah, dude. I thought I was dumb for a little bit in middle school, but like honestly, I blame the teachers.
For you.
Yeah, dude. Because I failed the FCAT, and I was like, damn, bro, I'm stupid. Like that's what I thought. And then I went to ATC, and they had good teachers, and I was competitive in that, and I actually did really well, you know.
Who's your favorite teacher at ATC? That's
Dang,
what I wanted to know.
dude. My favorite teacher, bro.
Yeah.
There's a lot of solid teachers in that school. I think by far, though, my favorite teacher is Miss Kelly, for sure, dude. Yeah, Miss
Kelly, if you're listening, I just want to say I love you. That was a great teacher.
She's legit, yeah.
Most
she's legit,
definitely.
bro. She's like, because every teacher has an impact in every grade and stuff, but Miss Kelly was like there my whole high school career.
Yeah.
And I always could rely on her, literally she was like a mother figure.
That's
And
real.
she was legit, man. She really taught me a lot of like life skills, whether she knows it or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know like in our school we have a competition called the pyramid competition. It's kind of I thought it was really lame, because it's like you got to build pyramids and do like rolls on mats. And honestly, I thought it was really lame. But then I don't know, we did the competition, and I was like, again, I'm competitive.
Facts.
And I was like, bro, I'm trying to win this. And I won, I won first place. You know what I'm saying? So I was
That's
like,
where it started, ladies and gentlemen.
I won first place, and then I realized a lot of things about being a leader. It was dope, man. It was a dope experience for a high school student, because I like real world stuff, and that kind of felt a little bit more real world for me, rather than sitting behind a desk and taking a test. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it was honestly, bro, I give a lot of props to ATC. They're doing good stuff out there. They have a technical college program, and you get to leave high school with a trade,
Exactly.
which is not really common. You know what I mean? Which is dope.
Did you get into your tech?
I did.
That was a big thing. A lot of people didn't get into tech. I'm just letting you guys know I'm one of them.
Dang, dude. What tech did you try to get into?
Nursing, man. Like.
Oh, for real? I didn't know that. I thought you were trying to get into automotive.
Nah, man. That was the second plan, but
yeah.
nursing was like, that's the big flex. I wanted to be like.
You wanted to be a nurse.
You know, Kev. Shout out to Kev.
Hey,
man.
that boy's he's a good nurse. You know what I'm saying? He's been kicking it since high school. That's not a lot of people stick with it. It's not an easy field.
Most definitely.
Big props, bro. But yeah, no, 100%. Like, I did not know you were doing nursing. I didn't know that was your thing, dude.
Yeah, I probably want to just do it because it was like a slight flex.
Okay, I feel like pharmacy would have been a little bit more of a flex.
Pharmacy?
Yeah, because you're over here getting paid to be a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? Like, technically, you know what I'm saying? That's what pharmacy is. And that one's hard, bro. Pharmacy is hard because there's a lot of math involved. I think Julian did pharmacy, or I think he still is a pharmacist or doing whatever in that pharmacy, that was the tech that I would like to do, but I knew that I couldn't do it within, I don't think I would have wanted to really remain in it, but it was a dope tech to be in. I feel like kind of like it'd be a flex. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. What was the transition of you like going into after high school, like going into the military? Because I feel like that's where shit really started, especially for me.
Yeah, man. I mean, my senior year, you left ATC.
I left my senior year, yeah.
And then you were in your home school, but you had good reasons because you're killing it in sports. Yeah. We didn't have sports at our school, but
we had flag football. Don't do that.
Dude,
don't do that.
That's not really a sport. Get out of here, dude. But yeah, so we had we didn't really do any like dope sports, I guess. So I know that's why you left, and I was in my stats class. Actually, Lewis was in that class with me, and I don't know, man. The teacher was talking about the statistics of how many kids, like really young adults, go into college, and how many of them actually pursue the career that they paid for.
Yeah.
And it's actually 27%, and that's actually it's really low. And for me, I was like, man, the likelihood of me going to college, getting into debt to pursue a career is 27%. Like, it's like, it doesn't make sense for something that I'm not sure about. Yeah. Those are not good numbers. And I was like, man, I'm tired of school anyways.
Yeah.
Like, I've been doing school for 12 years. Like, I'm tired of sitting behind a desk and, solving theoretical problems. Like, I wanted to do real world stuff. Like, I wanted to solve problems that are going to affect people's lives. And, as a graduate, you can't really, a high school graduate, there's really no real opportunities for you to solve problems at that level, except, if you join the military. And so that was one of the main reasons why I joined the military, but also because I had no money and they'll pay you to leave. So I was like, all right, bet. And then they force you to stay where you're at, because a lot of people leave, get homesick, and then they come back. And I was like, well, this is going to keep me within, pretty much I have to ride this out for 5 years. I have to commit, which is a big thing. And that's why and how I did it. And then you ended up going to UCF, right?
I got a scholarship to UCF, but I ended up going to UF,
Oh,
University
bet.
of Florida.
UF. Okay, bet.
Yeah.
Bet. How was that?
Let's just say a lot of trulies, a lot of.
Okay.
It was definitely an experience. I'd like to say, for sure.
Yeah. A lot of people talk about the college experiences, though. I've never actually experienced college, which is kind of like, I don't really care too much about like not experiencing it, but I mean, tell me about it. How was it, dude? What makes that experience so dope that people talk about?
I feel like seeing people your age group going in such different avenues, it really gives, like, for me personally, that gave me like, okay, wow, okay, I could do this with my life, I could do this with my life, I could do this.
Okay.
You feel me? And it lets you build that network.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing I learned from college, to be real, is your network.
Yeah, it's true.
Most definitely. And I'm still using those networks till today. So
that's dope, man. What's probably one of the most important networks you made in college?
I'll say my boy Alejandro.
Yeah? How so?
I'll say Alejandro because right now he owns a private jet facility.
Bet.
And I'm currently like getting my aviation's license right now.
Oh,
it's like, it's through my love of planes that I'm doing stuff like that.
That's
and I
sick,
just
dude.
like, just to see like how he's operating outside of college, like that was pretty dope.
Yeah. Kind of like you got to meet him in college and then see what he's doing with now. That's dope, man.
Most definitely.
That's dope, dude. And then, so you were doing basketball, right, in college?
Yeah.
How was that?
I ain't gonna cap. That was the like when I got there.
Yeah.
Thinking that you're gonna be like hot shit, and that's when like a rude awakening. Like you're not that. And not to say that you're not that person, but it's just a reality check to show you that people are really grinding out here. This is not just a hobby for people.
Oh yeah.
Like basketball was a hobby for me.
Okay.
So like really like seeing people like really. I had 3 upperclassmen. Shout out to Keith Stone, most importantly, K5 and Kavarius. They literally took me under their wing.
I'll bet.
So that was a really big help from a kid being from Broward to like be ripped away from home like that.
Yeah.
In a way, like depression is a real thing, and I learned that.
For sure, dude. Yeah, man. It's almost kind of like when you're in high school, you're like a big fish, little pond, and then you go to college, and then you're like big fish in a huge pond, and it's kind of hard to adapt. It's culture shock.
Yeah, it's the swamp, not the pond. The swamp. Shout out Gators,
dude.
man.
Yeah, man. That's crazy, dude. And so then you ended up leaving basketball, right?
Yeah.
When did you? What year was that?
I'm not really good at years. I stopped counting like dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, like time, like the whole concept of time. I low-key just like ripped that, man, and like. But I would say that was probably like 2018, 19.
Okay, so about like 2 years into college.
Yeah, because
cool.
after Florida, I went to JUCO basketball. I don't know if you know what JUCO basketball is.
No, I don't.
But JUCO basketball is the slums. That's where you get to your nitty gritty. You feel me?
Okay,
People are hungry, trying to get back to the level or trying to get to the Division I level.
Okay, bet.
So like playing that, it was really like. It was cool. The main reason why I took that scholarship was to be back in Miami.
Oh, bet.
But I had a whole different concept when I came back to Miami. It wasn't just to play basketball. It was more so to tap into my network.
Okay. So then you ended up leaving basketball.
Yeah.
And then what did you get into next?
I got into film, producing.
Okay.
That step right after, I was lucky enough to trust my instinct. One thing about me, I send 100 emails out a day.
Bet.
No kidding. I send 100 emails out a day.
You do it manually?
Manually.
Dang, dude, you should automate that. Low key, dog. I
And
got I got an assistant for you. It'll help
Alright,
you.
bet,
It'll
bet,
save
I
you time,
appreciate
dog. I
that.
promise you. But that's dope, though. That's some
Nah,
hustle, bro.
most definitely. And I was never that dude that was scared to like fail.
For sure.
Like I'd rather just throw that shit out and just see what
Yeah,
comes
see what
back. Or
sticks. Yeah,
exactly. And I
100%.
luckily I got an internship with Lebron.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, at Uninterrupted.
Nice.
And
dude.
like being from Broward, first time in LA, it was just like that shit was like, it's like
different.
wow.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
it's different, bro. I experienced that, dude, because when I again, we came from Broward, and then from the Marine Corps, went to South Carolina, North Carolina, so I got to see a whole different, like, culture,
Yeah.
and then I got to meet people from all over, and then I got to learn the way they do things, and then I went to Pensacola, which is still Florida, but it's different vibe for sure,
Different little
and then
swag.
to San Diego, and I'm like, yo, everything's, it's because it's like you grow up in this looking at life through this one lens because
Yeah.
it's all you know.
Yeah.
And then once you start to see different things, you like start to realize a lot of the things that you went through. Like these people went through different things. It's like it's such a weird.
Exactly.
It's weird at first. It's really considered. It's a culture shock for sure.
Most
But yeah, man. So for you, what was some things you learned about that experience?
I learned the importance of collaboration.
Okay.
Creatives getting together and actually for one purpose, one goal,
Yeah.
and getting that shit
True.
done.
That's essential, dude.
Most
That's
definitely.
true, bro. I mean, I'm in the creative space now, and that's exactly what we do. We got a team of people. Everybody knows their task. Everybody's proficient in each individual task, and
Productivity.
we work,
Yeah.
cohesively. Because I mean, you can't do it alone, especially in the creative industry, dude. To do it alone, dude, you're gonna go insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, that's good, man. It's a good lesson to learn, bro. Especially because you kind of got to see it, and you're like, wow, this is pretty cool. Is that kind of where did you find your love for film? Like, how did that start? I mean, because I didn't know that about you in high school.
Yeah.
You know.
It started in my dorm room actually. It started me depressed as fuck, thinking, what am I gonna do other than basketball? My whole life people have been telling me basketball is the way. I'm gonna be this basketball player. So there's a lot of pressure that comes with that shit.
For sure, dude. 100%. Yeah.
So it was-
high expectation.
Exactly. So it was really me just tapping into my, what would you say, my childlike instinct. What did I love, you know? And one thing that really stuck out was my love for film, especially music videos, and shout out to Outkast. I don't know, Andre 3000.
Yeah, he's dope.
How creative those music videos
yeah,
were.
he's-
That really like really played with my mind as a kid. And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
this is dope introspective.
That's dope, bro. That's so cool because when I was a kid, man, like my favorite channel to watch was MTV. Like when they were just music videos back to back.
Facts.
And I loved watching it, dude. I loved the different creative spaces you can get into within just music videos,
Yeah.
whether it's storytelling or just like eye-catching stuff or just there's a lot of cool stuff there's a lot of creativity within. It's not just one box,
Yeah.
and it's pretty dope, man. Especially when you diversify in genres and different types of music. It's like there's so many possibilities, dude. It's sick.
So I'm not the only one that's in love with cameras, man. Talk about like when did you pick it? I remember you took that class when we were in high school at BC for cameras. Like, what was that love like?
Well, so for me, man, it probably started when I was like in middle school. I bought like this really like crappy camera from Walmart.
What type?
Dude, I don't even remember. It was like a mom camera. Like you press a button, the lens comes out,
Yeah.
and then it's mainly a photo camera. Dude, it was like $50, dude. It was really bad. And then it just happened to have a video setting.
Yeah.
And then it's so funny because like me, I thought it was dope. And then we record like stupid things, and then I ended up plugging in the cord to the TV, the blue and the yellow and the green cables into the TV, and then we'd see ourselves on the TV because we'd post it up. And I'm like, this is really dope. And then I'm like, we can make some movies. It was like my first because I loved movies growing up. In reality, my mom wasn't really able to be around too much because she was working and then doing night school to learn English. So she would just take me to the library. We'd get a whole bunch of movies, and that's kind of like movies were my babysitter in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And then so I grew up watching movies, and so then when I got a camera, I'm like, I can make movies. That's kind of like the initial thought. And then I just started making dumb skits with my friends, dude. Like literally the stupidest things, dude. I like oh my god, bro, it's embarrassing. But yeah, that's where the love started for me, dude.
I just want to say, like, real spill, you inspire me a lot, bro.
Damn, really? I appreciate that.
Nah,
dude.
for sure, bro. Like, really just seeing somebody like that I know personally dive into something at such a young age, and like the way that your mindset was always fixed on, okay, I want to be the better version of myself.
Yeah, yeah.
And to like actually know you and see how structured you are, and you feel me?
Yeah, dude.
That's stuff that I really like look up to, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate that. It means a lot, dude.
Most stuff, man.
Yeah, man. It's definitely been a like a crazy experience because of being in the military and everything, which I think was really a big part to play with my structure.
Yeah.
Because when I was in high school, you knew me in high school, bro. I was a terrible person.
Nah, I wouldn't say terrible, man.
I mean, well, I wasn't a great person, and I also was doing a whole bunch of drugs. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely had no structure. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have like any like I knew what I wanted,
Yeah.
but I was so deep into a lot of these things that I was doing to numb myself. You know, like I was doing a lot of drugs for sure because I was trying to get away from some. I was always playing and really like. Really toying with the idea of like getting in trouble a lot just because like it made me feel something. So I was like almost always getting arrested and it would really give me a weird rush, dude. I was in a really weird place. I don't want to say it was a bad place mentally, and that's kind of why I did all that. And you know, I was very insecure, and that's why I was always trying to get around with girls because I was projecting my insecurities, and then every time I was with a new girl, it would reaffirm, you know, the things that I was insecure about. And then obviously it doesn't last. So then I would keep doing it. And it in turn, bro, I was I wasn't a great person. I'd hurt people. I was not like very conscious of other people's feelings and stuff. I was very manipulative and selfish and insecure at the time. And when I went to the Marine Corps, I was like, you know, this is going to force me to get my ish together, at least from a structure standpoint, not from an emotional health standpoint. But if I can get my physical structure right, then it's one step closer to getting my mental structure right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's definitely, you know, a journey, dude. And it's definitely, you know, you got to be intentional about it. And, you know, you've been the same way too. I mean, I know like being in high school, whether it was like basketball at the time, I know you wanted to be the best and you were, you know, always like, you know, going at it. You like went above and beyond. You had like an athletic coach that, you know, you were doing things that other people weren't doing. You were hustling. And dude, you were again, and you went for it, and you still, you know, you weren't afraid of failing and stuff, and you were there, and then you realize at that point, you're like, it's not what I want. Versus some people like don't even try. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, you ended up stumbling upon your passion, which is dope, man. And then you kind of just really started taking off there, dude. What was it for you that really like that you were realized like this is it, like this is where I want to run? You know what I'm saying? Kind of like, you know how you're talking about you were doing basketball, and then you had a point where you're like, dang, this is just a hobby to me. I don't really want to do this. What made it happen for you, like the opposite, where this is something I want to not just make a hobby, I want to do it?
I wouldn't say I made basketball a hobby because sports would always be my passion.
Okay.
You feel me?
Yeah, yeah.
What really I got sick of was the system as far as basketball went.
Okay.
Because people see this as just sports, but it's not just sports. This is a company.
For sure, it's political.
Exactly.
Sure.
So that really showed me that side
Okay, that's
of
good.
business, and I took that along with me when I left.
Okay, cool.
But I wouldn't say basketball is necessarily done. I'm just, you feel me? I'm just doing my thing right now.
Okay,
with film.
All right, bet. Sounds good.
Most definitely.
And then, so what was that moment for you when you did? You said you started in your room, and then what was it like? Did you have a moment of like, damn, this is what I want to run with? Did you have something like that?
Yeah, I would say after my upperclassmen, they were seniors. After they left, I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna just be stuck here with nobody.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel that. Yeah.
And I really just wanted to, like I said, everybody's been saying like sports is the way. As being a black male, that's kind of like crippling. And I was just like, okay, let me show kids that.
You can do more.
Exactly.
For sure.
You got options. You feel me?
Yeah,
you
got
options.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And so, what were the two biggest lessons that you learned from basketball? Well, the one biggest lessons you learned from basketball, and then the other lesson that you've learned from film.
I'll say with basketball, it showed me how to be fake.
Okay.
It showed me how to be fake to get what you want. Sometimes you have to put on that smile. Sometimes you have to do shit that's
Okay.
that's uncomfortable
For sure.
for an objective. That's what it really taught me. I'd truly say.
Okay.
It
Nice.
showed me how to play politics with my coach.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
funny you
you
say
feel
that. That's funny you say that because like I learned kind of something similar in the Marine Corps. I guess it's like when you dive into an environment and you get to analyze the way things operate, you kind of get to see, how people like get to the things that they want, and then you gotta like you kind of see and you see the system, and then you see either how to play the system or be in the system.
Correct.
Because at the end of the day, the way I see it, man, is either like if there's a flawed system, there's one or two routes. It's either you play the system or you get played by the system. And so like for me in the Marine Corps, there was a lot of like flaws within the system, and I had to do the same thing. Not necessarily. It's almost like the opposite. It's so weird. I didn't have to fake to be like this amazing. Like, well, actually, I did have to fake it, but it wasn't like to fake to be like this person that like put on a smile type of thing. For me, it was actually the opposite. I had to fake to be really bad at what I did. Yeah, like I had to fake to be really bad at my job because I saw the people who were really good at the job they got screwed over. They're the ones who got sent on debts all the time to be away from their spouse months at a time. The ones that had to work late, that got called in on the weekends. The ones that got screwed over. The ones that they didn't allow to see other opportunities because they were so valuable. So then I'm like, for me, I'm like, dang. So you're telling me that in order for me to have a decent life in the Marine Corps, to be able to still do the things that I want, I gotta act like I'm not good at my job, so they don't see me as valuable. And they don't do all that. And it was actually really hard, to be honest, because that's not my character. I had to screw things up on purpose. Like, I would do a job, like, for real, and then I'm like, oh, I got to go back, and I got to, like, undo something because it was, like, it was the politics of it. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, that's interesting you say that. What about film? What did you learn from film?
What I learned from film is the importance of having your own shit. As far
Like
as
ownership?
set, ownership for sure, but as far as controlling a set, like I felt like I outgrown I've been on a lot of sets. I've seen a lot of cool people. I've seen everybody that I wanted to see.
Yeah.
It's like now I'm understanding the purpose of like having your own shit, your own content, having it the way that you want, and actually producing and directing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
controlling your set.
For sure.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's good, man. Yeah, no, I know how that is, man, because it's really creative freedom is really what it is.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you're under somebody else's vision, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but, once you've been on it for a while, you're like, I want to run my own thing, and then you kind of, like, figure out, like, you got your way to doing it, which is true, man. That's good, dude. And then so, like, throughout, basketball, film, like, business and all stuff, like, you have any mentors?
Do I? Yeah, I do.
Yeah. What would you say is like the biggest takeaways that you learned from your mentors? Like,
I wouldn't say I got anything. It'd be really quick not to say I didn't get anything from them, but them just doing what they're doing in their respective fields, that's enough for me.
yeah, for sure. Just being a witness.
Exactly. Not even being a witness, but being there to like see, like, because one of my mentors is Grab a Mic. He owns a tobacco company.
Yeah.
It's a black man owning a tobacco company. That's like, as a kid, thinking that basketball was the only way. Seeing that niche avenue was really like, wow.
That's dope.
It really did a lot for me, man.
Yeah. Kind of seeing it's really sometimes like it's one thing to hear that this is possible versus being able to see that it's possible. You know what I'm saying? Once you get into like an environment where you see somebody who made it, who's doing this and is actually living out their dream and living out their purpose, it's a different perspective for sure. It's more attainable, like, and the more you do it, the more it becomes normal to you. Cause that's kind of what it is for me, man. Cause likewise, I have a lot of great mentors in my life, and the more I get to see, the way they operate and the things that they're doing, it's like if it becomes like your new baseline. You're like, this is inevitable for me because I'm seeing it happen, versus when you just hear about it. It definitely hits different for sure.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. And then so, man, you like just to kind of like pivot really quick. So you're really killing it right now in the film industry, especially the music side. I got to see you work with Kanye when he dropped that new album. He had that performance out here in Miami, dude. How was that, man? That was dope, dude.
I wouldn't say I necessarily worked with Kanye.
I mean, you were with his team, though, right?
I really pressed Kanye. That's the thing. That's
Yeah.
what a lot of people don't know. I pressed Kanye.
Okay.
He posted like this video, actually this picture
Mm-hmm.
that replicated like one of the artists that I work with. His name is Xavier Luggage.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the opportunity to actually have like a like press him on some shit like that's not right as a creative, like
For sure.
and you know, like what we're dealing with is intellectual property and
100%.
and like so pressing Kanye was really
That's dope, dude. Yeah, no, that's a big thing. That's a big
most definitely.
It's a big issue within, especially the music industry, and even the creative industry. It's because like intellectual property is a huge thing. And that's why you want to be making sure that you maneuver correctly, especially when there's bigger names out there, dude. Sometimes it's easy to get stepped on, and then your stuff just gets
That's
taken like that. So that's true. You
that's
gotta
what I'm
be on
learning.
top of it.
Right now I'm learning the importance of paperwork right now as
Yeah,
far as
dude.
like contracts, and you're
dude.
you're helping me with that too, like
Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
your structure and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Of
Huge.
just like making sure nobody's little boying you in this industry.
For sure, bro. That's the biggest thing, dude. And that's one thing I learned, man. Like, people can be great, but like, especially when it comes to business, bro, a legal bond, like through a contract, is absolutely necessary. Doesn't matter who you are, if you're my boy, if you're not. It's something you should always do, because you never know, man. Like, it's not that like a lot of people think that because I have a contract, you're gonna be like, oh, like, what do you think, man? Like, I'm your boy. Like, why are you putting like, it's not even that. It's like to protect both of us, because not only is it protecting you and your intellectual property, but it's also protecting whoever it is you're doing business with, to make sure that they receive that intellectual property correctly in the way that they expect it. So it's a definitely a two-way street. But it's how business works, man. Some people get butthurt over it, but I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do your due diligence, because if not, man, you're just gonna get like stepped on and just look past, and it's not a great way to do business and trying to like just take people for the word, man. Because you know how people are, man. So especially in the creative industry, because creativity becomes really, it's an asset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I was just telling a friend that today actually.
Yeah.
Like what I'm dealing with here is intellectual property.
Yeah.
So with that, because I remember that we spoke not too long ago. You're just like, I'm protecting my brain. That's my biggest asset.
For sure, yeah. 100%, dude. I started giving people my time in like my creativity, unless they're a client and a contract signed.
Yeah.
If they don't want to work with me, but they want my ideas, and that's another avenue that I do take, and I charge them for my time.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure, especially, I mean, where I'm at right now, I just want to make sure that I'm, actually perceiving my value, because I don't want to, like, when I was new to it, I'd do it for free, and it is what it is, and that's the way, that's the nature of the beast. You start up, you start doing things for free, you start learning things like that. But now where I'm at now, it's like I can't afford to do that anymore unless I want to gift it to somebody. And if I give it out to everybody, then when I gift it to somebody, it's not as valuable, right?
Correct. So
but yeah, so that's kind of like this. You're very accurate on that, man. It's definitely something worth protecting. It's almost like gold. It produces, like, good creativity produces income, produces results, produces action. You never know what you're gonna actually impact through good creativity. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing, like the era that we're moving in right now, it's like, what are we really working for?
Yeah.
We're really working for people's attention. Hate to say it, but that's the revenue, right?
No, it is. It's
when
true.
we talk about monetizing and shit like that.
Yeah, dude. It's the biggest. It's almost like attention is like oil. You know what I'm saying? And then like when you're over here on Instagram, it's like you got an oil rig, and you're trying to, you're trying to really mine for that oil through content and all that stuff. And it's true, because attention is what produces, or it converts people to as customers, clients, whatever it is that people want, which then boosts your economy. So it's true. Yeah, attention is number one, bro. Tell people that all the time. And the best thing you can do is learn how to capture it and sustain it.
Yeah.
100%, dude. It's probably one of the best skills you can learn to do, because that skill is gonna be needed for a very, very long time. And if you want to become very rich, that's a good avenue to pursue. Is how to get attention, because that's a whole art in itself.
That or oil.
Or oil, yeah, legit oil, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's
telling.
never. I mean, that's never a bad idea. But yeah, no, but seriously, like it's like it's crazy, dude. It's crazy, like, because some people are over here trying to get attention in a very simple way,
Yeah.
but then there's people out here analyzing, like seeing like what brings attention, where is it mainly like through data, where is it mainly like intersected, what then captures that attention and where does it lead it to, and that's a whole skill set that's like extremely valuable, man, especially in what I do, and honestly what anybody does. I don't know what industry it's not valuable, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. And then so you were able to be there for Kanye's album release.
Yeah, Donda too.
That's sick, dude. And then so you worked with other like super well known artists, man. Who probably, what were your like top 3 artists working with?
Top 3. I'd say first Gucci. Working with Gucci was like, that was like surreal. And I got my boy Vince back there. I was with him too. That was epic.
That's dope.
That was epic. And I got a chance to actually be in the music video too, as far as like,
That's
so
sick.
it was like a dope, that was dope. The next 2, I'd probably say an artist that's dear to me right now, LOE Shimmy. Shout out to LOE. He's a Broward artist, and he's about to take over, I'm telling you. For
Okay,
sure.
okay.
And I'd say another artist, I'll say V's.
Okay.
Yeah,
come?
V's. He's a Chicago artist. Actually, no, Detroit artist. My bad, V's. Detroit artist out here, man. And he's like really doing his thing right now. And like, as far as creative directing, I really see our visions aligning,
Okay.
and that's working further. So like V's for sure.
Yeah,
Got the
yeah.
game in the chokehold right now.
Nice. That's dope, man.
What about you? Like, who would you? A lot of people don't know you worked on with LaMelo Ball, man. Like,
yeah.
that was a dope experience.
yeah,
Like,
that
tell
was
me,
dope.
like, what's your top 3?
Man, dude. Top 3. I'd say, man, for sure, I say number 1 would be Manny Koshman. He's really deep in the real estate game.
Shout out to Manny.
Yeah, he's this dude, and he's got an amazing story, man. Like, he was an immigrant, homeless. Now this man's almost worth $1 billion. Dude's insane. He has an insane garage. His garage is worth like 30 mil. But yeah, Manny Koshman for sure. I'd say I have another client who's not necessarily well known yet. His name is Rick Gutman. He's one of my personal mentors that I've known for a really long time.
Yeah.
And he's definitely has had a huge impact on my financial development within the way I manage my money, grow my business, and all that stuff. For sure, dude is like a well of wisdom.
Yeah.
Definitely love working with him. Last one, man, it's rough, man. I don't want to feel like I'm picking favorites, but I guess I'd say I have a client out here. His name's Matt Rosenthal. He's the one who he runs a cybersecurity company. Very successful man, and he's definitely like very genuine guy. And he's very like business oriented, and he's very vulnerable about his story as well.
Yeah.
And he's just got like this like kind of this vibe to him that you just like being around him for sure.
Yeah.
And he's just always trying to like come up with like creative ideas, like financial creative ideas. He's like, yo, we got to do a business in this area. We got to do this in business. And he sees opportunities, and I'm very grateful to definitely be, within like his network, and somebody that he wants to work with for sure. I got a lot, man. I got a lot of people that I like to work with.
Hey, that was no fair. You asked me only artists. Like, as far as like people that I work with, like top 3 though.
Okay. I mean,
Like,
I don't really work with artists.
Yeah, facts. But top 3, I'd say definitely Gucci.
Mm-hmm.
Grab a mic with Grab a Leaf. And Issa Rae.
Okay.
Issa Rae, she's a very dope producer, actor.
Nice. Yeah, dude. That's good, man. I'm very grateful for the network that I've kind of built over time.
Yeah.
It's cool because we got like a really nice broad network, but like in 2 different spheres. Like, like
Facts.
mine's more oriented on the business side. Like really like just pushing in on like a lot of the main pillars of like economics. Like I'm definitely like even kind of swinging towards political things as well. I have a client right now who's running for Congress, wants me to do all his all this branding, which is pretty big for me. And I get to work alongside some amazing creative people that like work with people like Dr. Seuss and have some, you know, like have done Super Bowl commercials, things like that. And it's like I get to just be around like greatness. And it's crazy because I tell people, like, I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, dude, I think I spend more time with people who are like worth $1 million or more than I do with like just like regular people who are always, you know, trying to drain your energy and stuff like that. I'm like, I've never like I've never been in a position like that. You know, some people like have a little bit of time with some people who are, you know, doing well. And then the rest of their community, the rest of their network is just people dragging them, or just people maybe, you know, just living life as is. But I got to realize that like I flip for me. Like a majority of my time is with people like this. And that's why for me, dude, like a lot of these things, a lot of my goals, my aspirations are feel so attainable. It doesn't feel like it's hard. It doesn't feel like it's a matter of if. It's always, for me, a matter of when. Yeah. You know, because it's like what I see all the time. I see these guys like Manny Koshman, perfect example. This man was an immigrant, like homeless, net worth was 0. Now, you know, today, man's almost worth $1 billion, killing it in real estate. And it's just like amazing to see that. And it's like if he can do it, you know, I'm an immigrant too. You know, I came here as I'm a citizen now, but I came here as an immigrant with my mom. But it's just like it definitely makes it more attainable for sure, 100%, dude. Yeah, man. And then kind of like, you know, that's a good segue for you. You know, what's like your secret sauce? I'd say like, well, I know we talked about it off camera, about you just kind of really manifesting your life. Tell us about it. Like, how did you get to where you're at today through that mentality?
I would say it's really just, it has to go back to like people just deeming you to one thing. Like, you don't know me. You feel me? Like, controlling my own narrative. My thing is, I called myself a director before I was a director, meaning that I manifested it.
For sure.
Like I was calling myself it before I seen it in my head and I projected it into reality.
For sure.
So that's cool as fuck to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry to cuss.
No, you're good, man. You're good, dude. Yeah, no, that's crazy. How was it for you that you discovered, I guess, the art of manifesting? I mean, like, I know, again, like, it's not something taught in schools. It's not something, like, you know, people talk about. I mean, now it's a little bit more popular than it was before.
Yeah.
But for you, how did you kind of get into that?
I tell you, it's when I switched my name to Vibes by Nate.
Okay.
Like, I really, like, when I started being more keen to energy,
Gotcha.
like the energy that I'm around, how does that energy make me feel?
Gotcha.
And just me being more self-aware of myself, as I found more about myself. Yeah, man, as I found more about myself, man, it's just, I was uncovering. And things became easier for me. It's like I stopped at the point of trying. Yeah. And it was like more of aligning. I'm aligning myself with a certain energy more than I am trying.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So, yeah, I mean, like, I see kind of like a common theme here within your life. Kind of like, you know, you grew up in an environment, and you kind of like almost you had these expectations set on you from the get-go, from the day you're born, pretty much. And you almost feels like you never really wanted. You kind of never wanted somebody to put an expectation on you, and then you have to feel like you were put in that box, and now you got to fill that box.
Correct.
And then, you know, kind of like what you said, when you were going to ATC, you wanted to get away from a different environment. Yeah. You know, because if there's a different environment, then maybe that expectation wouldn't be there. Yeah. And then you saw the same thing, you know, same when people expect you to do only basketball and only killing in basketball. And then again, you kind of shifted over and maneuvered to something different just to prove that you can do something else. Because it's not just, you know, you can do basketball and you play very well, but it's like, I'm not just basketball. It's not just who I am.
And I'm not sorry to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
It was so I golf. That's one big thing I learned, like golfing when I was in UF. I used to golf with one of my friends, Tony. Shout out to Tony. But speaking to his dad, he's native from Gainesville, and he was like, yeah, I never want my son sweating for money. And that really just like really triggered me. Like I felt like basketball was a little too hard. I felt like I'm a lazy mother effer. And I'm really so it was just like
I get it, yeah.
the point of like I feel like more intellectual expressing myself intellectually is more
your avenue, for sure.
Not even say avenues, just more easy. Like I didn't want people just seeing me as just like a puppet playing basketball.
Okay, I got you.
I felt like I had a bigger purpose.
For sure. Yeah, man. I know how that is. As far as I have a lot of friends, I know. I mean, it's crazy because a lot of successful people are lazy in reality, and the reason why they're successful is because they want to be lazy. So there's different types of lazy. You know what I'm saying? You could be lazy and like just let that run your life, but you can be lazy but be like, I'm not gonna allow that to necessarily dictate my life, but I do want to be lazy in the future, so I might as well work now, and then just you kind of like make things work for you. In that sense, which is
it's basically like work hard, smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
So that was like a really like I feel like that's working smarter. Me using my brain to get money instead of me out here controlled.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, man, it's a good point. So then for you were manifesting like what you said when you're talking about how you were calling yourself a director before you became one. Because that's really how it is, man. I mean, like, from the manifest, like, you being, like, how you are right now and saying, this is who I am, and speaking that into existence before it happens, is actually, like, it's a science, you know? Yeah. It's actual science.
But when you speak it already happened, though. That's what you don't that's what people don't understand.
Yeah.
Like the power of the tongue, like that's something real.
No, that is 100%.
How you talk to yourself when nobody's looking, you know, that really
that's true, bro.
Plays a factor.
That's true. That's one thing. Like, it's very true, man. Because in reality, dude, like a lot of times people don't achieve the things that they want to achieve because like they may want to do these things, but they never see themselves doing it. And that's a huge thing because a lot of things, you got to attach things to your identity before you actually become it, you know, because that's how you move towards it. Your mind is actually probably the most powerful tool on this planet because if you fixate on something, your mind will move in that direction. So if you say like I am a director, I am an athlete, and then you start to like your life starts to then shift and then move in that direction towards that that type of lifestyle, that type of, you know, thinking. And it's huge, bro. And then, again, like you said, the power of the tongue is real, dude. The power of the tongue is legit.
Right now, my biggest thing is I am that I am. It's like all those titles, I'm realizing, like the film producer, the athlete, all that was really for my ego. If we're being real, that's for my ego.
Yeah.
I'm really at the point of I am that I am, like stop labeling.
Yeah.
Because that stunts your growth of what you could possibly inspire somebody else to do. You feel me?
No, that's true, yeah. That is true. That's true. I like that you say that. Because again, it's cool like to be able to have these labels and they're necessary in some settings. But I get what you're saying as far as like it can cap you too. Yeah. In a sense where like you said, like if you were only like an athlete, then that you wouldn't be able to be a director, you know what I'm saying? Because you only thought yourself as an athlete. So I do see that, yeah. For me, man, like I live my life not necessarily by a title. I live my life by a purpose. Correct. And that purpose then can fill different titles. It's wherever it needs. As long as that purpose is being fulfilled, which is kind of what this show's about, you know, which is helping people, you know, find freedom out of overcoming the human default. And
what do you? Sorry to cut you off, but what do you think is the human default? I hear you say that.
So I'll explain it, for me, like the best way for me to explain it is probably from a biblical sense, because I'm very rooted biblically. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, in the beginning, everybody knows the story: Adam and Eve. You know, Eve, she ate that apple, and then from that point forward, things changed. Right? From that point forward, we shifted into a new default. Right? Yeah. That default obviously is sin, and when you grow up, if you don't realize it, but nobody really teaches you how to sin. that actually is something that comes naturally because it's your default. Like when there's a little kid and you put a cookie jar in the middle of like the kitchen and you say, hey, don't touch the cookie jar. Yeah. And then you come back and obviously it was touched and you said, did you touch the cookie jar? That kid is going to say no because he knows he did something wrong, but nobody taught him how to lie. Nobody taught him how to do that. It's just a default that we as human beings naturally gravitate towards. It's what it is. And the thing is that default is what holds us back in reality. It is what holds us back. And it's actually very hard to shift it, and it's all generational. It gets passed down generational. Your parents have limiting beliefs that they pass on to you. The way they run their finances is passed on to you. The way they did their marriage, every little thing. Trauma is actually generational. You can look it up. Trauma actually is able to be passed on generationally up to 14 generations. So now these are our defaults, and the thing is, the same thing that got us into our default gets us out of our default. And if you look at the whole scenario of Adam and Eve, right? Eve ate that apple out of free will. So just how free will got us into that situation, it also gets us out. And free will is the ability to understand your default, but then modify it and then create a whole new default to then find freedom. So that's the whole basis of that for me. Because it like, you see it everywhere, man. You got a lot of friends, you got a lot of people in your life, and you can, at least the way I see it is I see people make decisions and I'm like, I know it's not a good decision, but I get why you're doing that because that's how you were brought up. And then that's you shifting to your default. And like kind of going like, you've played sports, same thing. Like, you know how when you practice, what you're doing is you're setting a default within your body. Yeah. And then that way when you're playing a game and something happens, you just go to your default. And whatever that default is, whether it's the way you practice, that's what your body's going to go towards. Because a lot of times the most important decisions are kind of like, it's like game time. You know what I'm saying? It's so quick. Yeah. There's a lot of emotion going around. There's a lot of heat, You
got 5 seconds, man. You got 5 seconds.
And then so you kind of end up just your body. You don't make the decision. Your body makes the decision. Your mind makes the decision on its own, which again is a default. So yeah, man, that's the whole premise of it. This whole premise, yeah, man.
That's dope, man. I see you guys have merch on the way, man. I'm trying to lace me up, man.
I got you, dog. I got you, bro. We got issues with our manufacturer right now, but when it comes through, I got you, man. But it was a pleasure having you on the show, dude. I appreciate you taking the time out, sharing your story, sharing your point of views, your perspective. And I love you, man. You're a great friend of mine, and always will be, bro. And I'm just like, I'm happy to be your friend and like just seeing you crush it in your sphere, and just like it's dope growing together, dude. It's really cool because there's not a lot of people from your childhood that can say that,
that make it with you too, because you have to cut off a lot of people, like, to
100%, dude. 100%.
Hate to say it,
and it's like, and it's dope because one day, when you're gonna be like a huge name, because you will be, it's gonna happen, bro. You're gonna be well known. You're a household name. You know what I'm saying? And then if I'm on another side of the sphere within the business world, and I'm on the same level, and then it's gonna be dope because then they're gonna be like, these guys went to high school together. Yeah. It's a cool story to tell. So I'm excited to what's gonna come, what the future holds, man. And I'm just gonna wrap it up here, but. If you guys want to reach Nate, Vibes by Nate, that's my boy. If you want to reach him out, reach out to him. He's got Instagram. He's got a lot of things going on, and you can just hit him up. He's very, very high level, so you've got to be of value to do business with my man. So reach out. I'll have all the information on down below, and we'll catch you on the next one.